Sure, one last kick. This is gonna be it. This is the moment. Vicario kicks this. And Liverpool are there. Liverpool are Premier League champions. And there it comes. Crystal Palace, for the very first time in their history, are FA Cup winners. Oh, he's found the net. Oh, what a goal. Kvaratskhelia is through, wants to add a fourth, and does so. Ahmad, oh my goodness me. That is absolutely unbelievable. Rice again. Oh! You thought he couldn't beat the first one. He's gone and bettered it. Another whip ball in. The header is in by Virgil van Dijk. Incredible. A very good afternoon. Welcome to Premier League Live for our second watch-along commentary of the day, and it is the big one, the game of the week. It is the North London derby as Igor Tudor takes charge of his first game as the Tottenham interim boss until the end of the season, and he takes on Arsenal in his first game at home at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, a place that Spurs have not enjoyed a lot of results this season. Only 2 home wins this season for Spurs. There will be one hell of a third home win if they can pick up victory this afternoon in this North London derby. Already it's been a crazy day in the Premier League. 3 games kicked off at 2 o'clock and are all concluded. Crystal Palace getting their way past 10-man Wolves after Tolo Arokudare missed a penalty, had his penalty saved by Dean Henderson to give Wolves the lead. Ultimately, they had a man sent off. Ladislav Krejci with a second yellow card was brought Wolves down to 10, and a late Evan Gerson goal in the 90th minute secured victory for Crystal Palace. But it was even crazier at the City Ground. Liverpool thought they'd scored a winner through Alexis McAllister in the 89th minute. That was disallowed for handball. Then Alexis McAllister in the 97th minute did score a winning goal for Liverpool, similar to Darwin Núñez, who'd done it the last time they'd won at the City Ground, Liverpool, in the 90-plus minutes. It is 97th minute, one of the latest winners Liverpool have ever had in the Premier League history. 1-0 victors away at the City Ground, and a painful loss for Vitor Pereira in his first Premier League game in charge of the club. But it was a great win away for Fulham. A rare away win for their season. 3-1 winners away at Sunderland. Raul Jimenez with the first 2 goals to give them a 2-goal lead. Sunderland then did get it back with Enzo Lefebvre got one back for them from the penalty spot before Alex Iwobi ultimately sealed the deal and gave Fulham all 3 points at the Stadium of Light. Back-to-back home defeats for Sunderland after an unbeaten record at home that had lasted a total of 13 games. An incredible record that come to an end came to an end the last home game, and back-to-back home defeats for Sunderland in 14 games. Right, so that is the early afternoon action, but to the main game. That kicks off in a few minutes' time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs against Arsenal in the North London derby. A quick recap of the context of this one. Well, Spurs are the only side in the Premier League yet to win a league game in 2026. 0 wins, 4 draws and 4 defeats. Arsenal's lead at the top of the table was cut to 2 points with Manchester City's 2-1 victory over Newcastle last night. They can extend that back to 5. But City will still have a game in hand. Arsenal played their kind of rescheduled game away at Wolves in midweek, drew that game, so that means Man City have a game advantage over Arsenal after this weekend, and going into this weekend certainly they did, and after 27 games apiece it's a 2-point gap between the two sides. But coming into this one, Arsenal have won each of the last 4 North London derbies, both home and away, so they have a good record no matter where they are when they face Spurs, and certainly put a lot past them in the reverse fixture when they won 4-1 at the Emirates early in the season. But the last time Spurs claimed victory in a North London derby was May 2022. They won 3-0, and believe it or not, they finished above Arsenal in the table that season. Spurs finished 4th, Arsenal finished 5th, and what a crazy season that was. But Arsenal are on the verge of possibly ending a 22-year wait for a Premier League title this season. They've been the leaders all the way through, but if they lose today or draw, by the next time they play, they could be second in the Premier League table if results go against them. So it is all on the line. It's the North London derby. Spurs against Arsenal at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Nothing bigger than this for these two clubs. And we will have team news in just a second. Let's actually bring you the team news as the players enter the field of play for this one. Spurs start with Vicario in goal. Archie Gray comes in at right back alongside Radu Dragoshin, Mickey van de Ven and Jed Spence. The suspended captain, club captain Christian Romero, is not involved. João Palhinha and Yves Bissouma are in midfield alongside Conor Gallagher, with a front three of Papsar, Xavi Simons and Randall Kolo Muani. On the bench for Spurs, Austin, Souza, Rosewell, Olusesi, Richarlison, Tell, Solanke, Wilson and Williams Barnett. A lot of injuries for Spurs, a whole list, probably a whole team full of injuries and suspensions, so a lot of missing players. Bentancur, Bergval, Madison, Udogie, Odegaard, Danzo, Davies, Porro, Kudus, Kulishevsky and the suspended Romero, all missing for Spurs. For the league leaders, David Raya starts in goal. A back four of Urian Timber, William Saliba, Gabriel and Piero Nkapie in the defence. Zubamendi, Rice and Eze make up the midfield three. Aberi Eze, who scored a hat-trick in the reverse fixture in his first North London derby as an Arsenal player. And a front three of Bukayo Saka, Leandro Trossard and Victor Gyokeres, who also got in on the scoring in the reverse fixture. All on the bench for the Gunners: Kepa, Mosquera, Lewis Skelly, Calafiori, Odegaard, Norgard, Madueke, Jesus and Martinelli. And a couple of issues for Mikel Arteta: no Havertz and no Marino, and also no Ben White. It is a North London derby. Igor Tudor taking charge of his first in the 199th North London derby. Can Spurs win one for the first time in 3.5 years, or can Arsenal regain a lead of 5 points at the top of the table and claim victory once again on enemy territory in North London? It's Spurs against Arsenal. Kickoff is next. A very good afternoon. Welcome to the programme. Welcome to Premier League Live here on LFS this Sunday afternoon for our second game of the day. The earlier one certainly delivered with late drama at the City Ground, with Liverpool winning by a goal to nil. But this one, the main event, and it means so much more for both teams coming into this one rather than just a derby. As I said, implications at either end. Spurs looking to give themselves a bit of headroom on the teams below them in the table. Arsenal looking to give themselves a bit of room on their nearest battlers, Manchester City, who closed the gap to 2 points last night with their 2-1 win at home against Newcastle. A North London derby. There's a lot more than just 3 points on the line. It is pride of North London. It's one that Arsenal have swept over the last 2 seasons, and they want to do it for a third successive season. If they win today, that will be some feat. Rice will get us underway. Both teams in their expectedly in their home shirts, because they don't have clashing colours because they're rivals. And we are underway. It is a big day for Arsenal. A lot of pressure on the Gunners, which has seen their lead at the top at 1 point be as far as 9 points, and now as close as ever to Manchester City finding a way against them, down to 2 points the gap. Spurs can have a direct impact on their rivals' chances of being a title winner this season in this game today. They didn't even lay a glove on Arsenal in the reverse fixture. Finished 4-1. And the goal for Spurs came in most bizarre and unorthodox of circumstances, really. And one that Richarlison didn't really know much about. But they were 3-0 up at that point, Arsenal. Trossard with the first and two Eza goals before Eza completed the hat-trick to make it 4-1 late in the game. And an incredible victory on that day for Arsenal. But again, they won on their last visit to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, winning by 1-0 early in last season. Gabriel with the only goal of that game to pick up derby victory. And actually, Arsenal have won on each of the last 3 occasions when they've come to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in the North London derby. 2-0, 3-2 and 1-0, their last 3 victories since that Spurs win in the last North London derby they'd won back in May of 2022. Here is Urian Timber. Trying to find Eza, but nicely blocked by Pap Sarr, and Jed Spence trying to battle, but Eza dispossesses him. Finds Saka. He's well shielded by Mickey van der Ven. And I gotta say, for the minute and a half that was played with Arsenal in possession, boos from the home crowd, trying their best to intimidate the Gunners and give their team any little advantage. They need all the help they can get, Spurs, as I said, without victory in the Premier League this calendar year, and we're coming to the close of February. 8 games they've played in the league, and they haven't won a single one of them this year. That is, although Spurs don't want to admit it, but that's relegation form, and that is crazily, bizarrely, a realistic possibility right now. Who'd have believed that? After Ange Postecoglou was hounded for the finish that he had in the league last year with Spurs. Rightfully so, it was a poor finish. But they were well clear of relegation last season. But this season, bizarrely, it's a realistic possibility, and that, even in and of itself, is mental to even say. Here's Urian Timber. Down the right-hand side, Saka. Saka flicks it on, Timber on the underlap. Timber's cross, headed down, and up and away by Radu Dragoshin. Deputising for the suspended club captain Christian Romero, who again shown a red card in his last game. Spurs see this again. Good delivery by Timber. Header down by Gyokeres. And Dragoshin makes the clearance and the block. Nicely done. Arsenal on the ascendancy, and in the ascendancy right from the off here. Already with their first chance of the game. Question really for Igor Tudor is, can he get a tune out of Spurs that Thomas Frank really hasn't been able to do all season? Certainly in the league they haven't been able to. Oh my goodness, Vicario, where's he going? Trossard's going to try and beat him with an empty net. It's gone, cleared off the line. What on earth? Vicario came about 20 yards out of his own net, decided to head the ball, missed it, and then left an empty net for Trossard to try and shoot into. It's cleared away by Dragoshin, but Spurs on the ropes already. Timber's cross, cleared away. Spence can't get it away, although he's going to get a free kick. Trossard fouling him. What on earth? See this from Vicario. He's already out of his own... I mean, mental. He gets to the ball, but it's mental from the Spurs goalkeeper. Mental. And that's the type of thing Arsenal want to see. Nervy Spurs. That's the type of team they'll capitalise upon. Spurs need to be rigid, strong, physical, stubborn against Arsenal. And so far, 5 minutes gone, and they've been anything but that. And 2 Radu Dragoshin clearances have kept Arsenal from being in front already. Good header, one by Rice, taken down by Gyokeres. Saka pokes it into Trossard. Laid off down the left it comes. Deep delivery. Up and away by Spence at the back post towards Saka. Timber takes it down. Zubamendi as Arsenal recycle. Gabriel. Now Trossard. Gabriel. Trossard again. Gabriel again. To Martin Zubamendi. To Saliba. Right, Timber again. Boos from the home crowd as Arsenal possess the ball. Saka. Chops inside on his left. Plays it back to Gabriel as our Spurs. Everybody back. The crowd trying to push their team out to get them something. So far it's one-way traffic. Arsenal in the attack. Spurs trying to defend. 82% possession for the Gunners so far. Here comes Gyokeres. Free roam! And wasn't too far away. Just wide of that right hand post. Again, free roam there for Victor Gyokeres. Beats past his man in the 1v1. In Dragoshin. Sees him on the inside. And he cuts onto his right foot. Strikes it to the far corner. It just kind of spins away from goal. At the last second, but he did all the hard work, Gyokeres. Lacking the finish. My goodness. 2 chances already for Victor Gyokeres. A header and then a straight strike. Both not finding the net. Well, stoppage here. So, issue with communications, we believe, with the officials. And the assistant Blake Antrobus seems to be the one that's having the issue with the communications. Peter Banks, our referee, Edward Smart, and Blake Antrobus, the assistants. Fourth official Sam Barrett, and VAR Darren Englands for this one. Have they resolved it? Still in the process of trying to resolve this. We get a shot from Ref Cam as Peter Banks, the referee, communicates with Javi Simons to explain the situation. And the linesman still has no communications, and he's explaining it now to Bukayo Saka, the referee. And that's really taken the sting out of this game so far. And it's just ruined the momentum a little bit, ruined the tempo of this game so far. Again, they don't help themselves, do they? I mean, this seems to happen a lot. Either the Premier League are not investing in their equipment well enough, or the equipment is just shite. But whatever it is, it seems to happen a lot in big games where officials can't communicate. I mean, it's a headset linked to a box that are all linked up, surely by a, I don't know what, but they're all linked somehow. And how it happens so often that one loses communication is quite strange. And again, we're continually stopped here because the officials can't hear each other. I mean, honestly, it's shambles that the big game of the weekend is being stopped in the first few minutes because of a technical issue. And it's allowing Igor Tudor to have some conversation with his players, deliver some messages, and it's taken the complete sting out of the momentum that Arsenal have had from the off here. I mean, it's unfair to Arsenal. And the crowd are singing to fill the gap that's been made here by the stupidity of the equipment of the officials. And the camera still on the head of Peter Banks, a referee. But I mean, what on earth is going on? Is anybody going to get new batteries or something? What's going on? He's now talking to Mikel Arteta. Can we know what's happening, please? You can't communicate, but is there anybody off their arse to try and resolve this situation? Jesus Christ almighty. Sometimes you think, they talk a lot about the Premier League being the best league in the world. Does this happen anywhere else? Do you ever see this happen in Spain or Germany or Portugal or Italy? I mean, all of this about English football being the best and the Premier League being the best in every aspect of the world, and they can't get a headset to work. I mean, they're now trying to resolve the issue with the assistant on that side. Blake Antrobus, the official in question that's had the issues. And again, if Arsenal are frustrated by this, I can understand why, because they've had the momentum from the off and it's just completely deaded the momentum of this game. Well, the issue's now been resolved. Somebody's put new batteries in the box that's on the arm of the assistant. You can hear each other again, and we're going to get back underway. I mean, what was that, a 4 or 5 minute stoppage? I mean, ruins the game. Ruins the whole momentum at the start of this game. Dragoshin with the clearance. Beautifully taken in by Caoimhan. And Xavi Simons is on to the end of it, trying to return the favour. Nicely retrieved by David Raya. First real foray forward for Spurs right from the restart. Raya trying to clear it away. Gets it to Gabriel under pressure. Hoofs it long. And a bouncing ball that's guided by Dragoshin away from Gyokeres and taken down well in the midfield by Lenya. As Caoimhan was wrestled by Gabriel, and it's going to be an Arsenal throw. Well, for the neutral, what actually would be entertaining? I think a draw or a Spurs win would be very entertaining when it comes to the neutral, because it would tighten up the title race. But even if it doesn't, remember, City have a game in hand on Arsenal and still have to play them. So even if it does go to 5 points, City would still possibly have it in their hands with the game in hand to win. And then the game against Arsenal, if they win, they would have a 1 point lead over the Gunners, even if they match each other's results between now and the end of the season. So no matter what happens here, it's still technically in Manchester City's hands. Taken in by Saliba. Now Gabriel. Trying to reassert some control for Arsenal after that long issue, that long stoppage. Saka back to Zubamendi, back to David Raya. Raya to Zubamendi, and now to Bukayo Saka, deep in their own half. Nicely intercepted by Spence. He's using his skill there, Jet Spence, but he was just beaten to it by the backtracking Timber. And now Arsenal on the move. Trossard finds Rice now. Rice pokes it in behind. Gyokeres on the run. Dragoshin with the tackle. Well done by Radu Dragoshin, who's been very much involved in the first 15 minutes of this game. You feel he's being targeted by Gyokeres. So far winning that battle. Here's Saka. Down the right. Clips it inside. Headed away and behind for the corner by Yves Bissouma. Again, see it here. Rice just pokes it through. Running behind Archie Gray to Gyokeres. Dragoshin on the cover. Sees it out for the throw. Nicely done by the defender, but Gyokeres got the better of his opposite number, Archie Gray there. Corner it is to Arsenal. 14 goals from corners this season. Their local rivals actually just one behind them, Spurs, on 13 goals from corners this season. Top 2 when it comes to corner goals. This is the first corner of the game. Right hand side, Saka to take. Left footed delivery. Deep to the back post, headed down and across. Saliba! Just wide of the goal. Looks like Spurs were all watching it helplessly, really. See it here. Headed down to the back post, across goal it comes, and Saliba's header directed wide, but all the Spurs players all they could do is watch it as it skipped past the right post. "17 minutes gone. We've had that long stoppage, so the game's kind of broke up into 2 parts. Pre-stoppage and post-stoppage. And on both occasions, Arsenal have been the better team. And created some chances. That's a poor ball by Simons. Given to Trossard, who made an absolute meal of that. An awful shot there from Leandro Trossard in what was a pretty good position. Again, cheap giveaway by Xavi Simons, trying to play it back across his own midfield. His own defence, shall I say. And gives it right to Trossard, who never really gets his feet right, never really takes advantage, and doesn't really do much with it. But absolutely sky it well over the crossbar and well into the stands. As I said, Leandro Trossard opened the scoring in the reverse fixture at the Emirates. He was the one that started what was a pretty good day for the Gunners against their local rivals. Very early in the campaign, all the way back in September. Or sorry, November. I was going to say September. That was last season. All the way back in November. And at that point, Arsenal were cruising. So far, they're cruising in this game. 5 shots to Spurs' none. Over 70% of the possession for the Gunners. Palhinha trying to scrape out a chance. Got it to Simons on the bounce of the ball. Takes it towards the runner. In there. And it's cleared away well by Raya, who was alert. But the bounce of the ball actually benefited Spurs. I think it was Conor Gallagher that was the one who was making the run. He's just chasing Raya down and cleared it away. Yeah, see it here. Simons got a bit of deflection. It was Conor Gallagher charging down. And almost into a great position. 1 or 2 little glimpses for Spurs, but they've given a real riot of it so far in this game. Between the two teams. It was Archie Gray was slightly caught there by Gyokeres in the build-up to that. Come off the worst there, Archie Gray. A bit painful. Accidental completely by Gyokeres, but painful nonetheless. And I think might drawn some blood from Archie Gray. Well, Spurs have lost their last 3 Premier League home games against Arsenal. That's as many as they had in their previous 23 against the Gunners. 1-10, drawn 10. They last lost 4 in a row against them between 1952 and 1955. They do it today. It will be the first time that it has happened in, believe it or not, 71 years. 71 years. That's lovely. Lovely one touch from Spurs. Simon still covered over. Caoimhan trying to battle, but Arsenal have it all under control. And Saka pushed to the ground by Jed Spence. Free kick to Arsenal. Well, I have to say, the North London derby has changed dynamic in the last few years, with Arsenal becoming more dominant, albeit they've been close games, but they've kind of edged towards more defensive games than what it used to be, was high scoring, high stakes, crazy matches. That's given away cheaply by Arsenal. Simons now finds Caoimhan trying to edge for the shot. Well blocked away from Papsar there. Gray picks it up against Nkapie on the right channel. Archie Gray does well. Digs out the cross. Knocked away by Saliba. Picked up by Spence. Better from Spurs this. Van de Ven. deep delivery. Raya one to come and plucks it out of the air. Does the Arsenal goalkeeper. Radu Dragashin beaten to it by Gyokeres, but has cover in Bissouma. That's better from Spurs, and the crowd react to their team's efforts. As I said, these games have become more about the odd goal being the winner, or really close games. Up until the reverse fixture this season, they'd all been one-goal games in the last 3 North London derbies. Arsenal winning each of those. And Spence there tackling Saka. Wanted a foul, did Saka, and he's going to get it, but vehemently argued against by the Spurs players. See it again here. Saka cuts inside Van de Ven, and Spence, yeah. I mean, he tackles Bukayo Saka, he catches Saka, body checks him out of the way. It's definitely a foul. I can see the frustration, I can understand the frustration, but it's definitely a foul. And he clearly showed his frustration there, Jed Spence. Free kick it is. Declan Rice over it. And we're already halfway through the first half, albeit a big stoppage in the game so far with that technical issue with the officials' communications, but already halfway through the first half. Declan Rice to take this free kick for Arsenal. 0-0. Rice, right-footed. Into the box it goes. Up and away by Van de Ven. A bouncing ball that has Eze in a tricky position, and Trossard has it nicked away from him. But Bissouma with the last touch as he tried to win it. Ended up going out of play off Yves Bissouma. And it will be an Arsenal throw. Spurs have showed a little bit more fight though in the last few minutes. Maybe eked out a little bit more joy out of Arsenal. Timber in the half space picks it up, finds it to Zubamendi out wide to Nkapie. Now Trossard pressured and beaten to it by Bissouma. Nowhere to go as he was brought down, and that's going to be a free kick to Yves Bissouma. Did well there. Just beat Trossard for pace, really. And Trossard having to take him down. Free kick it is. Yeah, Pierre Nkapie actually with the challenge. So free kick to Spurs. And Yves Bissouma, real engine in that midfield for Spurs. Had his struggles. Had his injuries as well, and hoping he can be an impactful player today for Spurs. Ball comes off Spence from that long free kick. Arsenal retrieve. Gabriel with a flick on there was Gyokeres. Trossard was the target, but Vicario cleans out and clears long. And Saliba's header straight out of play for a Spurs throw. Game in the balance at the minute. That's appeasing the crowd a little more. Sarr. Van de Ven back across to Dragashin. Goes long again towards Sarr, but Saliba guided it all the way through and out for a goal kick. The question is, what sort of game do Spurs want this to be? They want to win this. What sort of game do they want it to be? Do they want it to be a tight, cagey affair where it comes down to physical battles, or do they want it to be an open attacking one? I feel like it's more the prior rather than the latter. They want it to be a tighter game. They want it to be more physical. Free kicks, very itty bitty between the two teams. A lot of infighting, a lot of kind of tension, and then that breakaway clean opportunity, that one goal that wins it. I feel that's kind of the vibe. Well, you think Spurs want to get the home crowd involved, which they have, to be fair. They've been noisy so far, cheering when their team's done anything positive, and booing and jeering the Arsenal players when they're in possession. Here is Timber. Back to Saliba. To Gabriel. Down the left it comes to Nkapie. Actually reverses back and feeds it to Zubamendi. Eze, Zubamendi. Saliba to Timber. Inside, given away cheaply by Timber. Sarr there to pick it up. And brought down by Jurrien Timber was Pap Sarr. And he's going to get a yellow card for his troubles, the Arsenal right back. All on Jurrien Timber there, that moment. Gives the ball straight to Sarr, then tries to win it back and bundles over the Spurs midfielder. Wrestles him to the ground there. That's what's got him a yellow card. And Timber in the book. 5th yellow card of the season for the Dutchman. A free kick for Spurs. Still a good range out, but Xavi Simons is over it. Set pieces, forte of their rivals. Can they beat them at their own game here with this free kick? Simons, the man to take. Lots of areas and lots of bodies to hit in there in Spurs colours. A lot of height. Simons pings it round the back. Headed back in play, but easily cleared away by Gabriel. Dragoshin again, the target. One that got contact, but ultimately comes to nothing. He tried to create an angle there, Xavi Simons, but just put too much on it. Made it too difficult for anybody to really get near. Dragoshin tried, couldn't keep it in play. Raya finding Saliba in space. Breaking forward here, Saliba, without much battle back. Saka to Timber. Timber back to Saliba. Across to Rice. Into Eze. Nkapie battled, but back it comes to Trossard, and now Rice. Zubamendi's Rice again. Arsenal trying to reassert control and dominance with possession. And the jeers and boos continue from the home crowd. Seems like a 5-3-2 at times for Spurs out of possession. Saka under pressure, tackled by a few, but wins the free kick as he was unfairly challenged. Said the referee by Xavi Simons, and a free kick to Arsenal. Frustrated a little bit, Spurs, when Saka has the ball and they try and get it off him, and every time they try to, he either gets away from him or wins a free kick. That's where the frustration's coming there for Spurs. As Rice goes down. Zubamendi, goes down off the ball. Collision with Randall Colomwani. Referee assures that Zubamendi's okay. Kind of stood on him a little bit there, Randall Colomwani. The free kick, once again, just slows the game down, breaks the game apart. And as I said, it's something that clearly Spurs are wanting to do at the minute. Get those free kicks, break the game apart, not create an open, free-flowing game. Make it bitty and ugly at times. Archie Gray clears his lines. Gabriel was there to recycle. Nipped away by Colomwani, who gave real chase to that. And the ball played back to Vicario. Hoofs away. Colomwani wrestling with his man, and he's going to get the free kick there, Gabriel. Referee was quick. Colomwani was away, but the foul's been given. And he thought he got the better of Gabriel there, Randall Colomwani. See it here. Pulling Gabriel back. It's definitely a foul. Yeah, definitely a foul. Saka in behind Spence, both wrestling again for the ball. Saka keeps a hold. Jens has a hold. And Spence has the ball played off and by Saka. Arsenal throw. Bukayo Saka certainly winning those individual battles with his opposites at the moment. Timber's long throw. Kept on. Took a spin back into the area. Drops for Eza. Shot blocked. Bounces back to Timber now. Rebounds for Arsenal. Down the right hand side for Saka. Trying to get on the inside of Sarr, but he gets the bounce of the Saka ball. Saka's cut back. Shot! In it goes! And forced in by Gyokeres Eza. He's got another one in a North London derby. 4 in 2 games. And he's given Arsenal the lead. Gyokeres Eza absolutely loving a North London derby. And another derby. Another goal for Gyokeres Eza. And Arsenal take the lead here. He scored 5 Premier League goals this season, and 4 of them have come in North London derbies. That is what he loves to do. The home crowd boo. The away crowd jump in glory. And again, Arsenal look like they're going to take it to Spurs again. We see it again here. Saka doesn't give up on this. Sarr thinks he's got it. He loses it. Saka gets it back. And as it drops in, Eza doesn't quite catch it on the first one, but he makes sure that he sets it up for a shooting chance on the second. And what a hit it is with the second shot. Guides it down past Vicario. Wonderful hit. Great goal. Arsenal lead by a goal to 0. And Gyokeres Eza. You gotta say, he's only played in 2. This is only his second North London derby, but already he's got 4 goals in this fixture. Quite incredible. Arsenal break the deadlock after what has been a first half they've dominated to this point. And once again, it's that man back to haunt Spurs once more, Gyokeres Eza. Incredible. Oh, they've won it back well here. Ronald Caoimhan got the better of his man. Wants to shoot. He's got it in. It's 1-1. What a response from Tottenham. Back on terms. Right from the off. This is what a North London derby is. One strikes, the other strikes right back at them. Sloppy from Arsenal defensively. Caoimhan pouncing and taking the leveller. As quick as Arsenal took the lead, Spurs wrestled it back again. 1-1. Mikel Arteta arguing with the 4th official, Sam Barrett. And Declan Rice calling for calm from his players, but this was far from calm. Sloppy, playing about in their own half here. And Rice has a cheek to call for calm. He's the one that gives it away. He's the one that's tiptoeing around his own area. Stolen away by Caoimhan. Patient, waiting for his chance. And strikes when the iron's hot. And finds the leveller for Spurs. Right past Raya. 1-1. Wonderful. What a response. His first goal in the league for Ronald Caoimhan. Spurs' first shot on target. And what a half that has been dominated by Arsenal. But when Arsenal took the lead, Spurs reacted right away and said, no, not today. And they've got the leveller. And they've done very little in attack, as I said, at Spurs. But Ronald Caoimhan has looked a real force against the Arsenal defenders so far already in the game. A couple of battles. And he wrestled his way past Rice. And worked it into the box and had a shot absolutely rifled in for 1-1. In the meanwhile, Archie Gray's been given a yellow card. Not a clue what for, but he gets a yellow card. So both teams have their right back on a yellow. Timber. And the crowd are very much well engaged again. It's one way to get your crowd back into it after you've conceded, to score right away. And the fight that Spurs failed to show in the reverse fixture all the way through is the fight that they're showing here this afternoon. Oh, Saka! Well, stopped by Vicario. It's going to be a goal kick. And it doesn't even make anything of it in the end. Last touch off Bukayo Saka. It took it wide. What a ball by Piero and Capier. Saka was onside and he gets in behind Van de Ven. Forces the save out of Vicario and then it rebounds back off Saka. And behind for the goal kick. I've got a feeling this is going to be a high scoring North London derby. This isn't going to be simple one way or the other. We've got a game in our hands. And that's exactly what we wanted. Exactly what we wanted. No question about it. Free kick here. Conor Gallagher giving away the foul on Gabriel. Just a little bit too aggressive there from Conor Gallagher. Just jumped into Gabriel. The ball already gone. Half second earlier. Definitely a foul. Here is Saka. Down the right hand side. Chops onto his left foot. Tracked all the way as he spins it into the box. Rice's header. Comes off Archie Gray with a block. Behind for the Arsenal corner. Another Arsenal corner will come. Right footed by Rice. Back post it goes. Headed away by Dragusin. Back to Gyokeres at the right hand side. He's picked it up. Reverses it to Timber. Nowhere space. No time or space given on the ball, and Basuma's tackle sees it out for an Arsenal throw. Fantastic from Spurs. I have to say their 1v1 battling has been really quite eccentric so far. Quite electric. 6 minutes to go with the first half. Spurs 1, Arsenal 1. Eza gave Arsenal the lead. And mere less than 2 minutes later, Rando Kolomowani found the Spurs leveller. That's where we stand. Zubamendi. Rice. Trossard. Back to Gabriel and across now to Saliba. Timber. Inside to Eza. Reverses it in behind for Saka. Nicely done. Saka trying to get the better of his man. He does get the better of Spence. Shot was blocked. So bounces back to Timber being held on to. Trossard! Oh, just wide of the left post, but it took a deflection. Corner will be. Whisker away was Trossard from retaking the lead for Arsenal. Trossard. Timber plays it to Trossard and he just clipped it with his right foot, but there was contact from a Spurs player. Might have been Bissouma off the back of Basuma's foot that took it wide. Just wide. Goodness me, it's a corner nonetheless. Arsenal trying to push for the lead once again. Game's come to life in the last few minutes. Since that Arsenal goal. Corner whipped in. Punched away by Vicario. And hooked clear further. Only as far as Saka. Edge of the box. Saka trying to dribble through. Trips up a player in the process, given away in one back. And now Conor Gallagher's away. Simons down the left. Simons up against backtracking Trossard. And that will be an Arsenal throw. Nicely done by Leandro Trossard there. I have to say, I'm definitely losing my voice. We've had some mental games this afternoon so far. This one adding to the list. Right. Gabriel clears it long towards Trossard. Wrestled down by Dragoshin, but no foul, said the referee. Well, won by Radu Dragoshin. Basuma. Gallagher. Palhinha. Nice Spence. Excuse me. Spence. Tiptoeing down the left channel. Seen out by Saka, who wasn't letting him get any further. Throw into Spurs. Well, a draw would see Arsenal go 3 points clear, but with played a game more than City, Spurs would go 5 clear of relegation with a draw and would stay 16th behind Leeds on 31. Radu Dragoshin is the one that's up to take the throw. And it looks like it's going to be a long throw incoming for Spurs. Dragoshin. Arm in the air, ready for the throw. Launched towards the box, front post, headed away. And nicely headed by Nkapie, but is it a corner? It is, I think. It is. Want to head it away to get put it out for another throw, but bounce behind for a corner. So corner to Spurs it will be. Their first of the game, believe it or not. Minute and a half of the first half to go, plus all the additional time we'll have. Xavi Simons to deliver this Spurs corner, the first of the game for the home side. Simons, right-footed, punched away by Raya. Picked up by Bissouma, cycled back to Spence on the halfway line. Spurs left everybody up there. Spence is going to try and arrow it towards the left side, finding Simons, who takes it down nicely. Poking at it was Nkapie. And Simons does well to wrestle for the throw off Piero Nkapie on that right-hand side. And Radu Dragoshin's going to take another throw in here, another long one. He's going to just try and slow the game down. Dragoshin with another long throw in coming. It's shorter this time, closer to the area, headed away by Nkapie this time further up the field. Simons there to retrieve it though. Nice little poke ball to find Dragoshin, who chops back, delivers to the back post, and leaping in the air was Raya. He wants to get rid of it quickly. Shielded well by Gray against Trossard. And the bouncing ball comes all the way back to David Raya. Bit of pinball in this game in the last few minutes. As the 45 are up. See Along's added on quite a distance, I'm sure. 8 minutes. Of course, with that long stoppage due to the technical issues. Trossard tiptoeing his way through. Has to reverse it back to Saliba. Then on to Timber. Down the line it goes to Saka. Bukayo Saka dribbling towards the box. Cuts it back to Timber. Timber, is he going to shoot? He left it. Back to Saliba. Nice Saka again. Arsenal on the push once more. Saka to the byline. Shielded and blocked by Spence. And it's going to be a goal kick. Last touch off Saka. Fabulously done. Belief very much with this Spurs team. And this Spurs crowd, certainly. You gotta say, Rice really tells all his teammates to concentrate, and then he goes and makes the mistake that concedes the goal. He apologises. That's how quickly life can come at you. Especially in these derbies. Gyokeres actually was unlucky there because the ball came off the back of his own, off his own back, and ended up going away from him. Otherwise, he would have been in a very fortuitous position. Rice was fouled there by Caoimhan. Free kick quickly taken by Arsenal. A lot of this half still to go. Still 7 minutes or so to go. 6 minutes now. Raya up and right up the middle. Right, Dragoshin's header was a little unnecessary, really. Nicely taken in by Spurs. Gallagher finds Gray. Gray hooking it forward towards Caoimhan, who was wrestled by Gabriel. Referee said just a collision. Caoimhan stays down. They wanted a foul against Gabriel there. And now here comes Saka. Down the right hand side. Here come Arsenal. Saka trying to cross it. Blocked. Shielded well by Bissouma. Now Spence. Spence gonna take a few touches in his own half here. Simons stretching, losing. Shot from range is well off target anyway by Eze. Well, they wanted to see something against Gabriel here. See it with Caoimhan. And they just both wrestle for the ball. I mean, Gabriel, I don't know what he's trying to do. He's just trying to stop Caoimhan from getting to the ball, but he steps across him and then says that he was fouled. Lucky there, Gabriel, because he'd made no attempt to get anywhere near the ball and stopped the man. Maybe a bit lucky there, Gabriel. Cario with a long kick. Headed on by Bissouma, taken down by Caoimhan. Nice little step in by Sarr. Caoimhan in the tight space, trying to dig it out, but straight to David Raya. Halfway through the stoppage time in the first half here. 4 down, 4 to go. Eze does well on the half turn, finds Declan Rice, then flicks it on to Trossard, but it just comes off the heel of Trossard. Breaks for Spurs. Gallagher. Gray. Palhinha. Back to Dragoshin. Takes it on into midfield in a foot race with Gyokeres. And lost that battle ultimately. Now the space is left. Eze. Trossard. Chips away. Bodies come through and it's taken in by Vicario. Again, nervy from Dragoshin. Took a risk that he probably didn't need to. Maybe a little longer than he needed to. And ended up not paying the price for it ultimately. But Gabriel pressured again by Caoimhan. And he gets the header back to David Raya. Rondo Caoimhan looking a real tricky figure for Arsenal to come deal with in this first half. Look at that. One touch in the opposition box for Spurs, and that was the goal. 24 for Arsenal. Incredible. Saka. Plays it off to Nkapia, who will shoot. Deflected. Will bounce behind for the corner. Palhinha with the block. And still 3 minutes of the first half to go. Rarely broke forward, Spurs. When they did, they were clinical. Arsenal on top, but level in the game. Another corner, and they're trudging towards this corner. I mean, again, more time wasting. Declan Rice will take the corner. Never understand why players play football and then spend half of it trying to waste time and take the sting out of it. Play football. Rice, right-footed corner. It's narrow. It's up and away by Dragashin again. Not fully dealt with as it is now, and Caoimhan gets clear, and Simon's trying to wrestle to win it, but taken in by Saliba. He tried to poke it upfield first, and the foul is actually going to go against Arsenal. Eza on Papsar. Free kick to Spurs. 90 seconds to go in the first half, and I'd say if it gets to half-time at this rate, Igor Tudor will be delighted with the way his team have played. Mikel Arteta will feel a little disappointed that his team have been punished by the one and only real chance Spurs have had. But it was probably all down to Arsenal's own doing, really. Too casual in their own half, giving the ball away cheaply and not recovering quickly enough. Caoimhan taking all of that to his advantage and using it really effectively. Oh, a man went down there. No foul on Conor Gallagher. Saka hounded by a number of players and well closed out by Simons. Pellegrini Gallagher, apologies, keeping the hold of the ball, but surrounded by three and loses out to Trossard. Eza, Trossard. Down the left it comes. Nkapie, last 30 seconds of the half. Back to Rice. Gabriel, now Zubamendi, into Eza. Pokes it towards Trossard. Well challenged by Pellegrini, but Rice picks it back up. Gabriel. Down the left it comes. Nkapie whips it in. Headed away by Dragashin. And Simons took a touch that actually brought it back to Saka. Timber, Saka. Saka cuts it back. Saliba's delivery. Up and away. Not fully cleared though. It is now. And Caoimhan wrestles to keep it out of his own box. But pressure continues and the whistle goes. Half time it is. And a real physical tussle between these two in this North London derby. A first half that Arsenal dominated, and with his 5th goal of the season, Ebery Eza gave Arsenal the lead, but quickly humbled were Arsenal when Randall Caoimhan nicked it away from Declan Rice and slotted past David Raya for the leveller just 2 minutes later. Half time in North London at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It is at the break. Spurs 1. Arsenal 1. Sure, one last kick. This is gonna be it. This is the moment. Vicario kicks this. And Liverpool are there. Liverpool are Premier League champions. And there it comes. Crystal Palace, for the very first time in their history, are FA Cup winners. Oh, he's found the net. Oh, what a goal. Kvaratskhelia is through, wants to add a 4th, and does so. Ahmad, oh my goodness me. That is absolutely unbelievable. Rice again. Oh! You thought he couldn't beat the first one. He's gone and bettered it. Another whip ball in. The header is in by Virgil van Dijk. Incredible. Welcome back to Premier League Live, half-time in North London. It is 1-1 in the North London derby. Spurs fighting back after Arsenal took the lead after just 32 minutes. Gyokeres with his fifth goal of the season, but 4 of those 5 goals have come in the North London derby this campaign. And Gyokeres' goal was cancelled out by a Rondo Colomawani leveller to make it 1-1, just less than 2 minutes after Arsenal took the lead. Already this weekend, some interesting results. Villa dropping points at home to Leeds, but they were 1-0 down in that game, Villa, so came back to draw. Brighton winning 2-0 away from home away at Brentford. Only the 3rd defeat Brentford have had at home all season. Chelsea dropping points to Burnley after being down to 10 men. Wesley Fofana showing a red card, and Burnley capitalising by finding an equaliser. Goalless between West Ham and Bournemouth. A real thriller of a game yesterday. Manchester City edging out a 2-1 win over Newcastle, all the goals coming in the first half of that game. And Palace edging their way past 10-man Wolves in a 1-0 victory earlier this afternoon. Liverpool leaving it late to beat Nottingham Forest. Alexis McAllister with a winner. And Sunderland beaten for the back-to-back home defeats for Sunderland after they'd gone their first 12 home league games of the season unbeaten. Fulham 3-1 winners at the Stadium of Light. Those were the 8 results that have happened already this weekend in the Premier League. One is halfway through. Spurs 1, Arsenal 1, and one more game to come. Everton hosting Man United. And if United really want to capitalise and take the lead in that battle for the top 4, well, they can. If they win away at Everton tomorrow, they will go above Liverpool and Chelsea by 3 points if they can win tomorrow. Man United. But the big second half between Spurs and Arsenal is on the way next, and that is our final game of the weekend here on LFS. But we will have Champions League back. The second legs of the knockout playoffs take place this midweek. Of course, Tuesday night. It's undetermined what game we're doing, but it'll likely be either Leverkusen Olympiacos or Inter against Bodo Glimt. Definitely not Newcastle against Karabag. And then on Wednesday night, we do have confirmation of what game we're doing. We will be doing the Real Madrid Benfica game on Wednesday night. Big games to come in midweek. But the second half of the North London derby is on the way very shortly. Do stay with us. Welcome back to Premier League Live. Second half between Spurs and Arsenal in the North London derby on the way in just a second. I've just noticed our graphics are the text of those 2 team names different sizes. That's really going to annoy me. OCD gets to me, and that was something that would annoy me. I've just noticed that. Anyway, don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. That would be greatly appreciated. Thank you all for joining us for this one. On our second game of the day. It's what's been a busy day in the Premier League. 4 games taking place today, all very tight games ultimately, and this one no different. Arsenal, as it stands, would go 3 points clear at the top. They would extend it to 3 from 2 that City closed it to yesterday, but would have played a game more and still have to play Manchester City at the Etihad. So the title race, no matter what happens here today, is still very much in the balance, and that is what makes it so exciting going into the final 10 or 11 games of this season. Incredible. Right, the players are all but ready. We're waiting on the official, Peter Banks, to join us. The referee. Spurs kicking from left to right in the second half, Arsenal from right to left, and it is 1-1 at the break. Eza with the opener for Arsenal. Caoimhan with the Spurs leveller. Big second half to come. There's a delay though. And I gotta say, this is not good. There's another delay, and it's the other assistant, Eddie Smart, that's had a problem. They've had the whole of the half to do this. What has he been doing with it? Has he been dipping the box in water at half time? I mean, how does this magically happen? Right as the half is about to get underway? I mean, seriously. This is utterly a 5-letter word. Shite. What on earth? Oh, swear to God. Surely Duracell can give them like a sponsorship with the Premier League or something. Give them free batteries or something. Jesus Christ. And this is another delay that is going to make this game a little trickier. Players are out there having to kick the ball around to keep themselves warmed up and ready for the start of the second half. While we wait on the other assistant getting some technical reinforcement. Absolute stupidity. But I gotta say, this is it's a very important start to the second half. When it does get underway, it will be a big start because who will take momentum? It kind of ebbed and flowed as the first half ended. Arsenal maybe just scraped it back to their advantage as the half came to an end, but Spurs hung on and were able to get to the half without any further damage and see what they can rejig at half time and maybe come at Arsenal, but you never know. Both sides will have had a rethink at half time. I think Spurs would have been pretty happy with how the first half really went, albeit their lack of attacking quality, but they got the goal from the one big chance they created, and of course they'll want to be more threatening, but Arsenal the dominant team when it comes to the stats and everything else in the game, bar the scoreline. Whether the benches could come into question here to try and change things in this second half. Well, they're definitely trying to keep us waiting. Still trying to keep us waiting. And we talked about what the implications could mean for the title race, but at the same time, when it comes to the relegation battle, albeit Spurs, a draw would keep them 5 points above the relegation zone of West Ham, but still not without the realms of possibility that Spurs could be dragged right back into that mix again, as some ironic jeers as the assistant, the other assistant, that didn't get his equipment fixed in the first half. The other assistant has got his equipment all resolved, and we are surely ready now to restart the game. Another lengthy delay. This time, luckily, the game hadn't got underway when it happened. We're back underway in the North London derby. A few minutes after we probably should have been. We're underway nonetheless, and that's all that matters. And a big second half here in North London. At the TH. Here comes Xavi Simons. Edging on the edge of the box, getting a shot! Raya had to pluck it away. That was a good effort by Simons, off balance, forcing a good save out of David Raya. Big chance. See it here. Header won by Simons, brought down by Caoimhan, flicked it back to Simons. As he drifted away from the area, dragged Timber with him, and off balance just dug it out from the ground and lifted it towards the left side. And Raya with the big save to deny him. And Capie spun it down the left to Trossard. Palhinha chasing. Trossard hold of the ball. Gives it away though as he plays it in field, and Spurs want to spring away again. Simons well challenged by Saliba. Crunching challenge, but a clean one. Timber down the right, finds Saka, clips it back from the byline. Headed down by Rice, closed away by Caoimhan, who clears long. Battling again. Saliba. Timber goes short, clips it towards Gyokeres! 2-1! Banger from Victor Gyokeres! And Arsenal retake the lead. Cracker from the Swede re-gives Arsenal the lead. And that is the perfect start to the second half. They were kept waiting, we were kept waiting, but it was well worth the wait when it did come. It was a dugout cross by Timber. I'm sure it wasn't what he meant, but he worked it across to the edge of the area. And when Gyokeres got the time and space on the edge of the area, he made sure that it counted this time. See it here, Timber. And it's just created the space for Gyokeres, who rifled it past Vicario. The curl on it, the spin on it was beautiful. The touch, the setup, the strike, the finish. Wonderful. Spurs 1, Arsenal 2. And they retake the lead. And that is exactly the start that Arsenal wanted and the start that Spurs feared. And their fears have come to light. Gyokeres makes it 2-1. After Xavi Simons had the first chance of the half to try and give Spurs the lead. For the first time in the afternoon. But it's Arsenal in front for the second time. And the Spurs will have to do what they did in the first half once again to try and level once again. Simons wrestled to the ground. Caoimhan still trying to dig it out as it's cleared away. Dragusin steps in, but he leaves the space in behind. But the ball is overhit and Vicario can claim. Great. Bissouma. And how big could that Gyokeres goal be? Arsenal, as it stands, he didn't get the chance the last time to tell you what it would mean if they won. They would be 5 points clear to 61 points, their 18th win of the season. And they will be 5 clear of their nearest rivals, Man City, albeit having played a game more and still to play City at the Etihad. But a lead, surely City have to be almost perfect to try and overcome. There's a long way to go in this game. But my goodness, that will be a painful one for Spurs to take, that early goal conceded in the second half. After they've done so much hard work to get back into the game quickly. And then to try and keep it at 1-1. It's almost like the hearts have been ripped out of their chests once again. Bissouma, Spence under pressure, does well to find Simons in space. She wants to spin it out to Archie Gray, taken in nicely. Slip there from Nkapie. Gray down the right to Gallagher. Returns the favour. Archie Gray to the byline. Clips it across, and Raya watched it all the way and gathered. He rolls it out to the on-running Trossard, who was challenged quite dramatically there by Palhinha. One back to Spence. Into the box he comes. Fires it across, deflection. Oh, took it into the hands of Raya. Oh, fat Saliba. It could have went anywhere. Zubimendi. To Nkapie. Right, Eze down the left-hand side. Gets the better of his man in Palhinha. Arsenal away again. Eze chops onto his right. Eze! Deflection, and gets the block, and Vicario just about keeps it in play. Eze was ready for another there. Very easily could have had another. Game is very open. Clearance there by Saliba. Spurs throw. Look at that. Skips away from his man and Palhinha there. Eze acres of space, and as Van de Ven comes across, or Dragusin, sorry, comes across, he chops on the inside of him. Has the shot, ended up blocked. Simons charging away from his marker, carrying Spurs on his shoulders at the moment. Xavi Simons driving through, lays it off for Caoimhan, but the sheer amount of Arsenal players there can clear it away. Xavi Simons, as I said, carrying Spurs on his shoulders. Anything positive they're doing is coming through him. And a Dutchman leading the Tudor charge for Spurs. But a charge that is faltering at the minute. Spence holding off his man. Wrestles him to the ground. Does well there. Palhinha. Now Gray. Chops inside. Back outside it goes to Gallagher. And to Bissouma. Now Gray. Bit better from Spurs. Gray, a little overhit. Gallagher has to chase this. He does keep it in play. Gallagher at the byline. Gets the ball in. Taken down by Caoimhan. And it's another one. Although maybe not. The referee wags the finger, says no. Were they saying, was it a foul? And he's vehemently arguing against it again. But they thought they got another level of their Spurs. And the referee said no. No goal, foul. Gallagher's delivery was great. Just took that deflection and he just got Gabriel out of his way. Maybe he did push him to the ground. Oh, I think that's very soft. I mean, Gabriel, I think he's been watching Raheem Sterling compilations there, because that looks a bit like a dive to me. It looks a little soft. Beautifully taken by Caoimhan when he did get the chance, but they have disallowed it, and it's going to stand as a no-goal decision. But Spurs, well in this fight still. And if that's not evidence, I don't know what is. But I have to say, Gabriel makes a real meal of it. I think he's lucky. He's been lucky twice in this game, Gabriel. I think he's riding his luck a lot. He's being hounded by Randall Caoimhan. And at this minute, I would say he's losing that battle massively. A tricky one for Saliba to guide back to his goalkeeper. And the ball had more pace than Xavi Simons, just about, as it found its way back to David Raya. But this, Spurs are making it a real test for Arsenal. They're not giving it all to them, and allowing them to have it all their own way here. That's exactly what they need to do. Make it tricky, make it tough. Not allow them to have free roam. At the minute, they're doing their ever hardest, Spurs, to do that. Randall Caoimhan, a real revelation in this game at the moment. Less than 10 minutes gone of this second half, and already it's shown up some bright sparks. Rice. Zubimendi back to Saliba, across to Gabriel. Into midfield comes Rice, now Trossard on the left. Gabriel. Saliba. Timber finds it to Eze, who rides off the challenge by Dragusin. Saka brought to the ground. Free kick. Mickey van der Ven penalised again. Saka wins the free kick for Arsenal. Crowd not happy, but it looked like he was pushed to the ground there. Yeah, I mean, he gets none of the ball there, Mickey van der Ven. It's definitely a foul. Trossard lays it inside to Nkapie on the underlap. Now finds Rice on the wide left. Rice across, cuts it back. And the ball cleared away by Papsar, who was dropping back into his own area. Again, beautiful combinations from Arsenal again. Rice on the breakaway down the left, and he cuts it back. Sarr was the only one anywhere near it. And he did get the clean clearance. Is Arsenal going to make a change here early in the second half? Going to see the introduction of Christian Mosquera, and he's going to replace Urian Timber. We'll change it right back, sorry, for Arsenal. And Timber already on a yellow card as well, so doesn't want to make it trickier for his right back there, Mikel Arteta. Mosquera on. Rice to deliver this corner. Timber watches from the sidelines. Rice, right-footed, back post. Up and away by Dragoshin, still fed back in, but into the hands of Vicario, who tries to launch it for Simons to chase. Rice on cover. And Rice does just enough, but it's a Spurs throw. I want to take it quickly. Colomawani took a touch, but couldn't keep it in play. Or couldn't keep the hold of it, sorry. And it's going to be an Arsenal free kick. Rice was fouled. This game's burst into chaos, I gotta say. It's not a split second without something happening. Very fulfilled. I mean, Trossard threw himself to the floor there. That's definitely not a foul. And I have to say, Arsenal trying to play act got their just rewards for their just kind of what's the word? Justice, in a sense, away at Wolves when they tried to time waste and ended up conceding the goal in added time from their own time wasting, which is quite ironic. The irony of it. This is certainly a battle. Better than you can say of the previous North London derby as Colomawani wins a free kick for Spurs down the right. Straighting the Arsenal team, and looks like Dom Solanke's getting ready on the sidelines. Well, Arsenal have won 6 of the last 7 Premier League games against Spurs, including each of the last 4. They last won 5 games in a row in the league against them between January 1987 and January 1989. Here's a Berrieza, pokes it through. Saka! Good save out of Vicario. Really good play again by Arsenal, but well stopped by the Spurs goalkeeper. Again, Jed Spence, what is he doing? Horrendous. Given away, and Eze pokes it through for Saka. Saka just kind of directs it straight at Vicario. Maybe a bit of a deflection off Dragoshin, and Vicario makes a good save. Bounce, Mosquera. Cleared away by Saliba, no risks taken there. Polini under pressure by Gyokeres, and the Arsenal 14 fouling the Spurs number 6. And a free kick to Tottenham Hotspur. Well, Tottenham, as I said, are winless in the last 8 Premier League games, drawn 4, lost 4. They last had a longer run within the same campaign between August and November of 2007, when they went 9 games winless. They failed to win this one. They will equal that record. Oh, given away cheaply. Ball in behind. Saka! Couldn't get it past his man. Eze will, though. There's the other one. 3-1. And a Berrieza has done it again. He is inevitable in the North London derby. And I have to say, Berrieza has had Spurs by the shackles all season in these 2 games. And he's got his 5th North London derby goal. And he is 1 goal away from back-to-back North London derby hat-tricks. I mean, special from a Berrieza. Again, it's poor from Spurs. I don't know what on earth. Is it Dragoshin? Just to head it. I don't know what's the idea there. They've looked really slow. I mean, what's he doing here? Heads it straight at Eze. Eze plays it through to Saka. Saka tries to score himself, blocked, and then it rebounds back into the path of Eze, who picks up the pieces and scores again. But again, from Spurs' point of view, it's hopeless, it's hapless, it's terrible. But Arsenal delighted that once again it looks like they are going to be claiming another big win away at Spurs in the North London derby in a big game under pressure. It looks like they're going to come away with victory. Ebere Eze, I can't believe it. 6 Premier League goals he's got this season, and 5 of them against Spurs. It's nuts. Absolutely mental. And Dominic Solanke, by the way, is come on for Spurs, but is it too little too late for them? Still a long way to go in this game, by the way. Solanke replacing Conor Gallagher. It's now 2 goals of an advantage for Arsenal. And they've got the freedom to find more. Spurs have got it all to do. It's even harder than it was a few minutes ago, obviously. And the Arsenal fans very loud inside the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. A very noisy bunch in that far corner. And rightfully so. Their team 5 points clear as it stands. And heading towards another famous North London derby win. They're in again. Trossard! Well shielded. Stopped by Mickey van der Ven. Here's Dominic Solanke onto the ball and challenged by Rice fairly. Throw in it will be to Spurs. It's just the twist in the tail, the turn of the tide. Coming into this weekend, it was City that surely had the momentum, albeit still at no point have City been back in front of Arsenal. But the momentum of a 9-point gap turning into a 2-point gap was a big momentum swing. And albeit, no matter, as I said, what happens in this game, it will still go down to them, sure, that game between these two, in City and Arsenal, when it comes to April. But you got to say, if Arsenal created a gap, all the pressure remains on City to keep being as perfect as they can be and making sure they at least match Arsenal's result every weekend until that point and not give up any more points, because it will reinstate a clear lead for Arsenal in the title race. This is what this North London derby means. It's a lot more than just 3 points one way or the other. It's a lot more than just what colour North London will be. It's whether a trophy will be coming to North London in the red side come May, or whether the championship might beckon for the other side of North London come May. That's the craziness of this derby here today. Spurs not willing to give up on it yet. Maybe you got to think, where and when would the time be to do that? Maybe there isn't one. You got to see it here. He's lit this game up today, Ebere Eze, as he did the previous. And he's tearing Spurs apart. Spurs are falling apart again, and it's all at the hands of Ebere Eze once again. That is the simple nature and fact of the North London derby in the 25-26 season. Gyokeres on the spin there was Trossard, but it got away from him as it cleared away. 25 to go. Arsenal with clear advantage and want more. Saka. Trossard trying to backheel it. Does be picked up though. Ball comes to Saka again. He wants a goal in a derby for the first time in a while. We all want one now, I'm sure. Gray clears long. Bouncing ball. Caoimhan still wrestling with Gabriel. And again, Spurs come away with the ball, but only momentarily, as couldn't keep it there with Basuma and Sarr. A foul given away there by Caoimhan actually on Nkapie. Free kick to Arsenal. Richarlison's going to be coming on for Spurs. And already, we remember the reverse fixture. They were 3-0 down, Spurs, when Richarlison got the consolation in bizarre circumstances from long range. That was probably the least celebrated goal I've ever seen. They were 3-0 down and out in that game, Spurs. And they were absolutely dominated, created nothing. And they got the goal from absolutely nothing. They had 3 shots in the whole of that game against Arsenal at the Emirates. They didn't have a shot in the whole of the first half against them in that reverse fixture. Today, they've equated the same number of shots, 3. 2 in the first, 1 in the second. Compare that to Arsenal's 17 they've had in this game. As Randall Colomwani's day comes to an end, Richarlison replaces him. Straight swap. Arsenal had 17 shots in the whole of the last game against Spurs at the Emirates. They've already equalled that with 23 minutes to go here in the reverse fixture. Spence. Simons. Solanke. Van de Ven. Spence. Hung on to by Mosquera, still holding on to the ball, but giving it away cheaply. Wanted a foul, but he did that for the goal. Jed Spence, and just get the ball away. Stop trying to be a martyr in the situation. Just kick the ball away. Stop trying to be the skills man. Play football. Remember, Arsenal were 2 goals up away at Wolves in midweek. They ended up drawing that game 2-2. With 2 goals up here, but you gotta say, in a much stronger position you feel. You never know. Premier League's seen some strange results and scorelines over the years. It's going to be a Spurs throw. Nicely done by Papsar there. Spurs must. There is going to be another goal. Spurs must get it. Otherwise, this game is surely dead and buried. They're wrestling forward here. Richarlison. All grip of Gabriel, and the last touch of Richarlison. Goal kick it is. Much to the frustration of Richarlison. To the celebration of Gabriel and Trossard, who were making sure that that was not going to be a corner. And it wasn't. Mikel Arteta was quite scathing in his post-match comments from the game against Wolves in the week that Arsenal drew 2-2 from a 2-0 lead. Says it was well below the standards expected. Well, today has been a welcome return to the very high standards that Arsenal have had this season and produced continually this season. Here's Trossard. Trossard! Opened up for the shot, but just couldn't curl it back towards goal. Goal kick it is. Yeah, nice idea, nice setup. Just didn't have the finish there, Trossard. In terms of points dropped from a winning position, Arsenal have only dropped 9 points from winning positions this season. Spurs have only gained 6 points from a losing position, so the stats would benefit Arsenal on that front. And with 20 minutes to go, the time is very much against Spurs. We talked about what it means for Arsenal, but defeat here for Spurs would see them still teetering above the relegation zone, 4 points above the drop of West Ham, and Arsenal could really pack a punch here with a few more goals. Saka! Just wide of the right post. They're getting closer again though, Arsenal. Trossard's shot that was wide and Saka's that was just wide. Wide nonetheless, but still creating chances and trying to find that fourth. Clearance by Van de Ven. Header by Richarlison. But again, Arsenal have control of the ball when it comes to ground. Gyokeres wanted a foul, not going to get it. Richarlison tried to play it to Gray, but put a bit too much power on it. Go throw into Arsenal. Lacking any conviction, Spurs. This will be their 12th defeat of the season. Only the 4 teams below them would have lost more this season than Tottenham. As I said, they'd be 4 points above West Ham. Level number of games. Spurs on the horizon for them. A trip to Fulham and a welcome Crystal Palace. So more London derbies on the horizon for Spurs. And must-win games surely at this stage of the season. In the position they find themselves, must-win territory. Arsenal have a London derby of their own next weekend. They host Chelsea next Sunday at the Emirates. Another big game for the Gunners. Another high-stakes game for both teams. Of course, with Chelsea in that race for Champions League football, which they dropped points at home to Burnley. Liverpool took advantage of that. We'll see if Man United can follow suit tomorrow night. But you got to say, that's a tight battle as well as the title race and the relegation battle. It's as congested as ever, this Premier League table. The clock continues to tick down, and Arsenal, as well as pushing for a fourth, are just trying to manage a 3-1 lead. Spurs are struggling to get any sort of decent possession on the ball. Raya go long this time, and the long ball is straight out for a Spurs throw, so they will get the ball back here, Tottenham. It's actually, they've had marginally more possession in the second half than Arsenal, 51-49. Consider that a much improved than their first half, where they had only 27% of the ball. But they'd probably take the first half over the second half, because they've conceded 2 goals and not scored, compared to the first half where it was 1-1. Eza, blocked by Van de Ven, but it'll drop towards Mosquera. Simons did enough, and Vicario picks up. Well, we talked about Spurs' home form. They're now the 3rd worst team when it comes to the home form this season. They've won just twice at home, 4 draws, and this would be their 8th home defeat. Only bottom side Wolves would have lost more home games than Spurs this season, which is quite horrendous. And only Wolves would have picked up less points than Spurs on home turf this season, which is stark. In terms of away form, Arsenal by far the best team on the road. This will be their 8th away win. Only 2 defeats on the road this season. That's the best of any team in the league, and certainly wins the most of any team in the league with 8. And a points tally, if it stays as it is, with 29 points coming away from home and from 15 games all season. 5 draws, 2 defeats. In their 15th away league game of the season. This is another point that it shows. Oh, Bissouma wins it back here. Richarlison tries to leave it for Sarr, and the hold on Rice is going to get Arsenal a free kick. Even when they looked like they tried to create something there, Spurs, nothing came of it. And as I was saying, this is another kind of point to go in Arsenal's favour. After this one, they'll only have 10 league games left to play this season. And they'll only have 4 away games left to play. They'll have 5 home games in that run. That's not good maths. They'll have 6 home games still to play. 4 away. So, away games will be somewhat of a distant memory for Arsenal. And Eza is going to be replaced here. They're going to make a double change, are the Gunners? Remaining away games, Arsenal. They'll go away to Brighton, away to Man City, of course, away to West Ham, and away to Crystal Palace. So they only have a trip up north just once between now and the end of the season in terms of the league. That's away to Manchester City, but the rest are either southern or in London. Double change there for Arsenal. I'm waffling a little bit. Gabriel Martinelli and Martin Odegaard on. Berries and Leandro Trossard are off. And there's a blue flare on the pitch, so we have a little stoppage here for the moment. Well, I said he was one goal away from being another hat-trick hero in the North London derby. Only one other player has ever done that. So he would have been on an exclusive list, but I think the referee makes a very... I think Mikel Arteta's made a very simple change just to reset his team and bring some fresh legs on and give Berries a well-deserved rest. He scored the first and the third for Arsenal and will be very much in the eyes of that man, Thomas Tuchel, the England head coach. I mean, he's dressed like a man who's trying to be incognito. He's not dressed like a man who's going to watch a football match. He's got the cap and everything on. He's trying to hide. Well, we found him. He's watching on for both sets of players, obviously. Free kick here to Spurs as Gyokeres penalised for a challenge on Palhinha. "12 minutes to go. A reminder for you, we've Champions League action for you midweek, Tuesday and Wednesday nights, the second legs of the knockout playoffs. Real Madrid Benfica at the Bernabeu is Wednesday's offering. Tuesday, still in the balance. We haven't quite decided, but it's not Newcastle against Qarabag, I can tell you that for nothing. I haven't really decided yet what game I want to do. At the moment, Inter are trying to overcome a 3-1 deficit to Bodo Glimt. That's an incredible result. And Leverkusen are 2-0 up against Olympiacos. I think maybe Inter against Bodo would be the intriguing one at San Siro. The Atletico Madrid Club Brugge game is 3-3 going into that game, and that's an early kickoff on Tuesday. So whatever you want to do, you let us know. We'll do a poll on our community page a little later this evening, and we'll make a decision what of the three ties you want to see on Tuesday night. But I'm edging towards Inter against Bodo. A big upset if Bodo Glimt can pull it off away at Inter. We've got a 3-1 lead to take to San Siro, so that'll be a crazy game on Tuesday night, I'm sure. Just over 10 minutes to go here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 1, Arsenal 3 in the North London derby. Another league double it looks like Arsenal are going to do over their local rivals. And in terms of not only North London derbies, but London derbies as a whole, Arsenal have had a really good record in. Since their last league defeat against Spurs in May of 2022, Arsenal have lost just one of their 21 away London derby matches in the Premier League. Won 14, drawn 6, and that was a 2-1 defeat against Fulham in December of 2023. Their only London derby defeat away from home since 2022. Incredible. So you got to say, and you probably can say, Arsenal have dominated the whole city of London over the last few years. Not only North London, the whole of London is an Arsenal red, it seems. And maybe the whole of England come the end of this season will be an Arsenal red, as they might be the top team in the country once again. For the first time in a generation. As I said, the last time that Arsenal won the league, I wasn't born. In May of 2004. I was born a month later. Trying to give a hold of the ball down the left there as Richarlison was brought down by Nkapie. Free kick to Spurs. Well, it's not good reading in terms of Igor Tudor in his first game as Spurs boss. The only other manager whose first ever game in charge of Spurs was in a match against Arsenal was Glenn Hoddle, and he lost a 2-1 in the FA Cup semi-final at Old Trafford back in April of 2001, and it looks like it's going to be going a similar way for Igor Tudor, the Spurs boss, and a record that he holds of being a winning start. He's won his first match in charge of each of his last 5 spells at a club, Igor Tudor. Second spell a Hajduk split in February 2020. Verona, Marseille, Lazio and Juventus all in the mix there. So, but it's not going to happen with Spurs unless some real drama happens here in the last 8 minutes. And not only for Arsenal does Eberezer love playing Spurs, he's now scored 8 goals in his last 5 appearances in the Premier League against Spurs after today's brace. Of course, 5 goals in 3 appearances at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and of course he netted a hat-trick in the reverse fixture against Spurs in November. Spurs need to move it quicker if they're going to create any sort of a last gasp finish here. Basuma does well to wrestle away. Sarr out to the left hand side, taken in by Spence. Goal here could really make it late and tasty for Spurs, but Arsenal determined to not give them the chance as Mosquera plays it out for a throw. 7 minutes to go plus additional time. Is there one last push in the Spurs team this evening? Gray's ball down the right. Oh, clipped onto it. Does Solanke. Sarr. Nice Spence. Spence trying to dribble through. Spence gets the better of his man. Cuts it across. It's gone through. Off the line it goes. And it's going to be a corner. Well, there we are. That is one hell of a stop by David Raya, who could have seen his team falter again, but he's plucked it from nowhere. It's just off the line. And I mean, just. What a save by Raya. Grappling behind him to wrestle it off the line and clear behind for the corner. Whipped in as... I'll retake it here actually. The referee was unhappy with a couple of pushing and shoving matches in the mix. Who knows? Maybe we aren't done and dusted here in this North London derby. Said if Spurs get the next goal, this game could still be something on the line. But they need to get it soon. And I mean very soon. They came within inches just seconds ago. Corner from that clearance. Simons to deliver. Left hand side. Right footed delivery it will be. Knots in the 6-yard box, spun in it goes, and over the head of everyone, and behind for a goal kick. See it here, ball across from Richarlison with a little flick, goes through the legs of Raya, and he grapples back to his own goal line to scrape it off the line. Incredible goalkeeping. And that's the fine margins. And nervy moments for both of a Spurs or an Arsenal persuasion. Incredible from David Raya. I have to say, when it comes to reactions, David Raya is one of the best goalkeepers in the league. When it comes to instinct and reactionary saves. And that's another one where he had to quickly realise where the ball had gone. And when he did, he made an unbelievable save. Because otherwise, that could have trundled over the line and made this a real crazy finish. We talk about fine margins in games, and that is surely one of those moments. Yves Bissouma has been given a yellow card for his foul here. 3.5 minutes to go with the 90, plus additional time. Declan Rice over this Arsenal free kick. Rice goes short, out wide it goes to Martinelli. Trying to get past Spence, whips it in, Martinelli to the back post, but it's right the way through. And Matisse Tell trying to pick it up, gets the throw in. And he has to take the throw in deep in his own half, takes it quickly. Nice little 1-2s. Played back to his goalkeeper and Vicario. Spurs might have one last chance to make this a crazy ending. But time is very much of the essence. And it will be one hell of a collapse if it was to fall away from Arsenal from this sort of position. Long ball by Vicario. Headed away by Gabriel. Brought down though by Bissouma. Simons gets the brick of the ball behind the Arsenal midfield. Dragged down. He's going to get the free kick. About 27 yards out here. And Saka's gone down. He's holding his left shin. He's rocking back and forward there. Saka in real pain. And he's going to have to receive treatment. But sure, the referee's quite quick to say that he's not going to waste time out of this. This is another play out of the dark arts book of time wasting for Arsenal. Or is he genuinely hurt, Bukayo Saka? Maybe he is, to be fair. I don't think Saka's the type of player to do that. Yeah, and he looks like he was kind of tangled in between him and Xavi Simons. Real entanglement. And Saka stayed down, receiving some treatments. This will be a Spurs free kick from a long range. You never know. Well, Mikel Arteta, as Arsenal boss, has won 41 of his 68 Premier League London derbies as a manager. That's the best win rate of anyone to take charge of at least 20. Overall, only Arsene Wenger and Jose Mourinho have won more London derbies than the Spaniard, a 60.3% win rate. Wenger won 106 from 194, and Jose Mourinho won 42 out of 70. This is London derby number 69 for Mikel Arteta, and it looks like he's going to get win number 42. That will equal Jose Mourinho's tally with one game fewer. Arsenal going to make another change. Going to see the introduction of Noni Madueke, and we have 7 added minutes. We had 8 in the first, 7 in the second. Pulled my own mic there. And Saka applauding the crowd. The travelling Arsenal fans, clearly. Noni Madueke replacing him. So free kick for Spurs from range. This has surely got to go in. Xavi Simons sets up, right-footed. It's whipped down to the back post, headed across and hooked away by Arsenal. Out for the throw. Spence gets it back in play quickly. Bissouma to Jed Spence down the right-hand side. Bissouma. Gray. Last man back for Spurs. Everybody else forward surely. Got On the lose now. Ball whipped into the box. Richarlison's header is looped up and into the hands of David Raya, who gathers comfortably. Tries to set one away. And then Capier finding to Gyokeres. Gets the break of the ball, finding it to Martinelli. Flag stayed down, but well shielded was Martinelli by Bissouma. And Spence now. Back to Yves Bissouma. Couldn't get far with that one as Capier blocked it. Spurs throw. See this goal from Victor Gyokeres again. A wonderful strike with the right foot. Beautiful goal. And that retook the lead for Arsenal just at the start of the second half. A lead that they've went on to extend and dominate and control and manage. That's what a striker can do. That's what a striker should do. And that's what he is doing. Victor Gyokeres has had a mixed season. That was his 9th Premier League goal of the campaign from 26 appearances. That's actually 14 in all comps. And in terms of the Golden Boot race, he's nowhere near that, but he certainly lifted himself up the table a little bit. Certainly Erling Haaland still leading that race with 22 Premier League goals this season. Igor Thiago, the Brentford striker, is in the mix there, 17. We told you what's to come for Spurs. Welcome Fulham and then head to host Palace. Oh, here's Gyokeres, it's 4. He's got another one. And Arsenal are going to do what they did to Spurs a few months ago. Put them to the sword by 4 goals to 1. This time it's on their own patch. And this time it's going to make it a much more heartbreaking defeat for Spurs in terms of what it means for them. But what it also means for Arsenal on verge of surely running towards this title again. It's now double figures for Victor Gyokeres in the league this season. Number 10 makes it 4-1. Again, well won back by Martinelli and Capier. Played into Odegaard. Guided his run well against Gray. And he just set up for the strike. 1v1. Got the better of Vicario. Made the angle in his favour. Fired it into the far corner. Lovely from Victor Gyokeres. 2 from 4 for him today. 2 from 4 for Berrieza. And Victor Gyokeres, look at that from Mikel Arteta. He knew before it even hit the net what was going to happen. You could see the smile. He's had a couple of braces for Arsenal. Victor Gyokeres. And they are destroying Spurs this season by an aggregate scoreline of 8 goals to 2 across both fixtures. Dominance, to say the very least. Incredible. And their test might have come when they conceded that leveller, and you might have thought, who knows, do they have the bottle to go out in the second half and wrestle it back again, Arsenal? Well, my goodness, they've shown us they're very much not running scared in this title race. They're trying to run it home. They're coming into the home straight. 10 league games to go it will be, with a 5-point lead. The blockbuster fixture still on the horizon in April. But Arsenal, for the moment, have the points. City have the games. Who will have their hands on the trophy come the end of May? It seems like Arsenal do not want to hand it back to Manchester City by any stretch. Last minute of the 7. And what will the Spurs fans be feeling? Numb is probably the simple answer. They're in again here, Arsenal. Martinelli, double marked, but picked up by Archie Gray. And you got to say, the home crowd emptying, the away crowd going absolutely nowhere. And on another day to forget really for Spurs against Arsenal. It's been a one-way derby for the last few seasons. I mean, it's now going to be a total of 4 full seasons for Spurs to not pick up victory against Arsenal in a North London derby. Only 1 draw to show from those 8 games. 7 of them ending in defeat, home and away, and they have lost all of their home games on that run, on that stretch. 2-0, 3-2, 1-0, and now likely to be 4-1. That's the most goals that Arsenal have scored against Spurs in an away game since 2004. Final whistle goes, and that is cemented into history. Arsenal with one of the most dominant league doubles over their rivals in recent history. 4-1 at home, 4-1 away. Surely they are cruising towards a title. Not if Manchester City have their way, but Arsenal are not going to make it easy for them. Gyokeres with 2, Eze with 2, Arsenal with 4, and all 3 points heading back to the red side of North London. Final score in the North London derby, it's finished Tottenham Hotspur 1, Arsenal 4. Confirmation of that final score that I haven't updated. There it is, 4-1. And as I was saying, the last time Arsenal scored more than 4 goals, or 4 goals or more, away at Spurs was back in November 2004 when they beat them 5-4 at White Hart Lane. And what were Arsenal back then? The Premier League champions. They were the reigning champions, but nonetheless, they had won that trophy. And are they on the verge of doing it again? For the first time in a generation, for probably the 4th time in a row, possibly, when they've been trying to do it under Mikel Arteta. The crowd loving it, the away fans loving it. They haven't had to travel far, but when they make that trip, in the last 4 seasons, it's been a winning trip, which is a very rare statement you can make in a derby. But Arsenal have dominated Spurs over the last 4 seasons in this fixture, and they are looking like they're going to dominate the whole of the country come the season's end. Final score is finished 4-1 there at the TH. Right, 9 of the 10 games done and dusted this Premier League weekend. A recap of them all. Villa 1, Leeds 1, Brentford 0, Brighton 2, Chelsea 1, Burnley 1, West Ham 0, Bournemouth 0, City 2, Newcastle 1, Palace 1, Wolves 0, Forest 0, Liverpool 1, Sunderland 1, Fulham 3, and Spurs 1, Arsenal 4. Everton Man United's to come tomorrow night, and we'll see if United can retake firm grip of the top 4 race if they win away at Everton tomorrow. Or can Everton continue their push into the top half with a victory tomorrow? We'll find out. But that is it from us on what has been a fantastic day on our Sunday doubleheader. 2 away wins, Liverpool with the early late winner through Alexis McAllister in our early game, and Arsenal with an all but incredible result away at Spurs. 4-1 winners on the road. Thanks for your company, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.